Dr. Manmohan Singh, the architect of India's economic revival and a statesman who transformed the nation during one of its darkest financial crises, has passed away at the age of 92. He is best remembered for his historic reforms in 1991 that not only rescued India from near bankruptcy but also redefined its trajectory as a rising global power. Let's take a look back at history. By mid-1991, India faced a crisis like no other. The forex reserves were perilously low. They had dropped to 25 crore rupees, which was barely sufficient to cover 2 weeks of imports. Inflation was in double digits. Global banks were refusing to offer loans. Forex outflows were large, and a massive fiscal deficit threatened to cripple the country. Therefore, in June that year, when Prime Minister P.V. Narasimha Rao decided to take a bold step, Dr. Manmohan Singh was the chairperson of the University Grants Commission. He had just returned to Delhi after attending a conference in the Netherlands. Late at night, his son-in-law, Vijay Tanka, answered a call from P.C. Alexander, who was a close aide of Narasimha Rao. Alexander urged Dr. Manmohan Singh to meet P.V. Narasimha Rao immediately. Dr. Singh, who was an academic with no political background, did not initially take the message seriously. But on 21st June, Manmohan Singh found himself in Rashtrapati Bhavan, unexpectedly taking the oath as India's new finance minister. But he faced the daunting task of averting a sovereign default. Backed by P.V. Narasimha Rao, he introduced measures that would dismantle decades of insular economic policies and set India on a path of liberalization. The urgency of the moment demanded unprecedented action. In July 1991, the government devalued the rupee twice, making Indian exports more competitive and bringing much-needed foreign exchange. At the same time, the Reserve Bank of India pledged 47 tons of gold to international banks, raising $600 million to shore up reserves. Emergency loans from International Monetary Fund totaling $2 billion were provided for further relief. But these immediate measures were only the beginning. On 24th of July 1991, Manmohan Singh presented his first budget, unveiling a vision that went beyond crisis management to redefine India's economic future. The budget dismantled Licensed Raj, a web of bureaucratic controls that had stifled industrial growth for decades. It eased restrictions on foreign investment, allowing automatic approvals for up to 51% equity stakes, and abolished industrial licensing for all but 18 critical sectors. But the reforms came at a cost. Corporate tax were raised, subsidies on essentials like cooking gas and sugar were slashed, and petrol prices increased. The Rao Singh government kept the reform momentum going. A new trade policy eased import-export regulations. Committees led by economists like Raja Chelia and M. Narasimham introduced structural changes to India's finance and taxation systems. Now, these reforms attracted foreign investment, modernized industry, and built the foundation for decades of growth. Within 2 years, India's foreign reserves surged from under $1 billion to over $10 billion, saving the nation from economic collapse and putting it on a path to become a global economic player. The Rao Singh government set into motion a cascading effect that transformed India from an insular, control-heavy, low-growth economy to what today the world's fastest growing major economy. Let's listen into some reactions on this.
To the office as usual. Narasimha Rao ji was searching for me and he traced me to the UGC and he said, "Where are you?" I said, "I am in the UGC." He said, "Hasn't Dr. Alexander mentioned to you what we have for you?" I said, I didn't take him very seriously. And Narasimha Rao ji said, "No, you go and get dressed up and come for the swearing-in ceremony." So that's how I became the finance minister. So people say I was accidental prime minister. I was also accidental finance minister.
I have with me N.V. Subhash, BJP spokesperson. And thank you, Mr. N.V. Subhash. And of course, a tall leader. India has lost the technocrat, the architect of the country's economy. And talking about the P.V. Narasimha Rao government with Dr. Manmohan Singh as a strategic peg in bringing about a transformation in the economy of the country. Do you think the foundation was laid by the Narasimha Rao and Manmohan Singh government to ensure India is on the upward trajectory of the largest, fastest growing economy in the world today?
Exactly. Support your, the system, the dialogue here, what you are trying to say. But before that, when we hear Dr. Manmohan Singh's, the statement about how he has become, the finance minister and the prime minister of this country, let me go back to 1990. In that, what we have seen, Dr. Manmohan Singh has a very good friend of, Mr. Narasimha Rao. And then we often used to see him both talking about economic policies when both are, not in the parliament, and he's a bureaucrat, Dr. Manmohan Singh. We used to wonder as a family member that what these people are really talking about it. And when we see, in the Rashtrapati Bhavan, when he's dressed up, and then he has become the cabinet minister in the Narasimha Rao's government, and then immediately he was making, the finance minister. We were 100% sure that something is going to happen here for this country. And today, after 35 years of economic liberalization policy, Narasimha Rao's and Dr. Manmohan Singh's duo, where they have laid the foundation for, the Vikasit Bharat, what we are now enjoying the fruits. Definitely, this is a very good, the gesture. And let me tell you one thing, that both people wanted to develop India. They have no personal agenda, they have no family agenda, nor they have no party agenda on that. First is, the nation first. And the successive governments, which was led by other, the prime ministers for other the political parties, they have succeeded in making the foundation more strong, building on the foundation of economic liberalization, where we have seen, 5 trillion economy, and we are, the fourth largest economy in the world. This is a welcome, the gesture, welcome move. There were so much of, the difference of opinion within the, the Congress party itself. There are more foes than friends in, the Congress party when Narasimha Rao wanted to open up the liberalization policy with the help of Dr. Manmohan Singh. And there were so many brickbats in the CWC meeting and in the, the cabinet meeting, whether this is going to happen or not. But ultimately, taking the advantage of the minority government, I say that, the advantage of the minority government, Narasimha Rao's government has arm-twisted the other political party leaders for making a good, the budget presentation, and the successive years, which has led to the foreign direct investment also.
Yes.
And the budget has been presented. Now we see, someone has to take some kind of initiative, and someone has to take some, the bold steps. The bold steps, though Rajiv Gandhi had 425 parliamentarians in, the parliament, Rajiv Gandhi could not even dare to open up, the liberalization, the license Raj. But 213 parliamentarians, as far as I remember, in Narasimha Rao's government, the parliament, they had, the numbers. They have taken the advantage. Again, I say because they wanted to do something for the good of the country.
Right.
Where Dr. Manmohan Singh is instrumental because he is a bureaucrat. He knows the subject. He knows about the finance. He's a brilliant person. And, Narasimha Rao has shielded him as a finance minister. And then I just go further for a minute and then say that I think 2 or 3 times, as far as I remember, Dr. Manmohan Singh wanted to resign from the cabinet because there are so much of opposition within the his cabinet colleagues because of so much of opening up the the just economic liberalization, where there are so much of opposition within the party itself. But as a shield, Narasimha Rao has protected him so that country will go exponentially high. That's what we see now.
Right.
In,
Also, do you think while we talk about the legacy of Dr. Manmohan Singh, and when we are talking about Manmohan Singh, we inadvertently have to also talk about PV Narasimha Rao, because both of them were able to bring about this massive transformation on the social front as well as the economic front. in the country. But do you think somewhere Dr. Manmohan Singh carried on with the Congress government right from Indira Gandhi's time, then Rajiv Gandhi, then PV Narasimha Rao, and then of course Sonia Gandhi. But PV Narasimha Rao's tenure after his prime ministership was brought into the back burner. He wasn't given the kind of precedence that may have been expected of a man who brought about the transformation that India required desperately at that time.
See, there are so many, the bureaucrats who have been working in the finance department and RBI governors also, some, the retired people, and so many people who have worked for the finance commission also. But identifying a person of, the caliber and making him as the finance minister, and because he is never in politics, Dr. Manmohan Singh was never in politics. He is neither a corporator nor a, the member of parliament. But identifying him and then making, motivating him to implement the policies which are good for the country. So that is the important thing. And once Manmohan Singh, once Narasimha Rao has limited the office, and then we see what kind of treatment he got from the Congress party. But Manmohan Singh, being the CWC member and very close to Sonia Gandhi and other people also, he could make sure that he wanted to make sure that he has made some path for the country, which the successive government and successive parties have also just adapted. And the best part in the Congress party, that being just electing him as the prime minister of this country, though he did not have any power, but he made sure that there was no issues related to the finance as well as economic liberalization policies, which he was instrumental in implementing on that. He made sure that India progresses. What we see the GDP at that time in 2010-12, that the followed by the successive governments of Narendra Modi also, the path which has been laid by his predecessors has been very, very instrumental. And we see the growth exponentially today, and then we are proud that we have a good leaders like Mr. Narasimha Rao and Dr. Manmohan Singh and Narendra Modi and the Vajpayee, who had always thought of making India a vibrant India.
Right, absolutely. And talking about Dr. Manmohan Singh's prime ministership, UPA 1 and UPA 2, and could you extol upon the number of transformational policy changes that he brought about? One that comes to mind particularly, the Indo-US nuclear deal that built the foundations for the India and US strategic partnership.
Exactly. Narasimha Rao was very clear, because he was the foreign minister also. At that time, he has implemented the Look East policy. As we remember, we always ignored eastern bloc of the country, especially Asian countries also. But the Look East policy was very, very successful on that. Following that, when Dr. Manmohan Singh has become the prime minister, there was so much of bars forum, so much of something from the US, where we are not supposed to do this, that, and everything. But Manmohan Singh was very clear about it. The policies of West, where without troubling them, he has very sophisticatedly and very good, with the gesture, with his mildness and with his intellectual capacity, which is bureaucrat experience, and of course the political experience. He had transformed the whole country. That is the best thing, and we really miss him today. That we have lost so much of a knowledge. When we repeat the history, when we go back to the history, what Narasimha Rao and Dr. Manmohan Singh duo has done for this country, it is very, very remarkable achievement, where everyone now are appreciating, irrespective of the political affiliations also. When we see Dr. Narendra Modi ji has gone first in the morning and then paid tributes, and then he has given a tweet which he has mentioned so many things about Dr. Manmohan Singh, which is very rarely seen. A person who is in other political party also, difference ideology, difference of opinions, difference of So many governments also, a person who has done sacrifice for the country is been appreciated by all walks of life.
Right, absolutely. And Subhash, thank you for joining us. Stay on with me. I have with me other panelists as well. S. Venkat Narayan also on the telecast with me. S. Venkat Narayan talking particularly about the camaraderie that P.V. Narasimha Rao and Manmohan Singh shared that brought about this sinking of their ideas. On one hand, P.V. Narasimha Rao was somebody who wanted India to be at the forefront when it comes to technology, when it comes to economic reforms, but at the same time bringing about the poor, the underprivileged also at the same footing as the ones who have progressed in the country, and thereabout came the policies like Manrega and Nrega and right to education and the Food Security Act that was also passed in the parliament under the regime. So how well do you think was social welfare and economic prosperity balanced in the country under the regime?
Well, I think the combination of P.V. Narasimha Rao and Dr. Manmohan Singh, I think, will go down in the history of India as one of the finest teams to run this country. They liberalized the economy, and if India is the fifth largest economy in the world with nearly $4 trillion, and it is expected to be the third largest in a couple of years from now, with $5 trillion GDP, all this is due to the reforms, historic reforms undertaken by the Narasimha Rao Manmohan Singh combination. And even though Manmohan Singh was new to politics, he has been finance secretary, Reserve Bank governor, and UGC chairman, and he was familiar with how Indian government works, how the bureaucracy works, and all that. And so Narasimha Rao picked him up and gave him a carte blanche, and he said, "You just go ahead and do what needs to be done to improve India's economic status and help the poor and so on. And whatever criticism will come, I will take responsibility for that." So he shielded Manmohan Singh in Parliament. It is, very unfortunate that within the Congress party itself, the economic reforms were not warmly welcomed, and the BJP, I must say, particularly Sushma Swaraj and L.K. Advani, used to taunt Dr. Manmohan Singh as the weak prime minister and all that. But it goes to his credit that what India today is, and the kind of reputation we enjoy as the fastest growing large economy, knocking at the gates of the third position in the global of GDP race, and the credit must be given. It goes to the Narasimha Rao Manmohan Singh combination, and it is a tribute to what they have done for the country, that none of their successors have undone their policies to help the poor and the liberalization of the economy and so on.
Yeah.
So I think both
But
of
I
them
have
will
to,
go down
I
in
have
history
to,
as the
I
main
have to
root.
ask this question. Do you think P.V. Narasimha Rao has gotten the same kind of respect and prestige and a stature that has been given by the Congress to Manmohan Singh, particularly when there has been an appeal that has been made by the Congress demanding the Prime Minister Modi government to provide a separate memorial for Dr. Manmohan Singh?
Well, I think I would like to see that the BJP and Prime Minister Modi will accede to the Congress party's request and provide a suitable place for Dr. Manmohan Singh, in Delhi for his burial. And I also would like to see the Modi government, which gave Bharat Ratna to P.V. Narasimha Rao, also to provide a suitable place in Delhi, it is a shame that the Congress party treated Narasimha Rao after he died so badly. And then I would like to see Modi undo all the damage and give the respect and honor the late Narasimha Rao and Dr. Manmohan Singh, whom we lost last night, they are given suitable places in New Delhi. Megha?
Right. And talking about the kind of relationship that Dr. Manmohan Singh shared, because he was one of the rare leaders in the Congress government that had worked under Indira Gandhi, but as in the capacity of a bureaucrat, and then of course under the Rajiv Gandhi era, and then PV Narasimha Rao before he finally became the Prime Minister of the country with the leadership of Sonia Gandhi there, and that was marred with controversy as well, because Sonia Gandhi, despite Manmohan Singh being the leader of the opposition, when the BJP was in power, the decision that was taken by the Congress was for Sonia. The name that was proposed was for Sonia Gandhi to become the Prime Minister. But once again, criticism coming in from the opposition that she was not a person of Indian origin, she was an Italian, and therefore then a decision being made to put Manmohan Singh on the for the position, for the coveted position of the Prime Minister.
That's absolutely correct, Megha. I think Sonia Gandhi did a very sensible, wise decision by making Dr. Manmohan Singh the Prime Minister. To be frank, he is highly educated. He knew how the bureaucracy works and, things like that. So I think the credit for making Manmohan Singh the Prime Minister must be given to Sonia Gandhi, even though I am very sad that she did not allow his dead body, Narasimha Rao's dead body, to go to 24 Akbar Road, the Congress party's headquarters. But anyway, that's all history now. But it is true that Sonia Gandhi gave the prime ministership to Manmohan Singh, and he changed India forever by historic decisions taken by his government, be it Aadhaar or Manrega or right to education, a host of things which the fruits of the reforms he undertook are being enjoyed by the 146 crores of Indian people today. And India today is taken seriously with great respect in the global arena, Megha, because of all this.
Yeah. Yeah, also, also talk to us about the challenges that were faced by Dr. Manmohan Singh in UPA 1 and UPA 2, not just from the opposition quarters, from within the party as well. And one such deal which became controversial was the US-India agreement on the nuclear power deal that was signed under Manmohan Singh and then President of America George Bush. Which led to the support from the UPA being withdrawn by the left parties. Look, in hindsight, do you think Prime Minister Manmohan Singh was a decisive leader despite criticism coming in his way that he was a weak leader, very submissive and dismissive one, who was quote unquote a puppet prime minister?
No, I think history, as in his last press conference in January 2014, Dr. Singh had said, history will judge me in a kinder fashion than the media and the political parties, particularly opposition, are treating me. Actually, it is true that the left, threatened to withdraw support if Dr. Singh went ahead with the Indo-US civil nuclear cooperation agreement, and he threatened to resign. Even Sonia Gandhi was not too keen when the left threatened to withdraw support. But Manmohan Singh made it a prestige issue because he was convinced that the Indo-US civil nuclear cooperation agreement was very, very important for this country, and he insisted. And then Mulayam Singh Yadav came on board and extended support, and the government survived. And so now, we have excellent relationship with the United States and all the countries which are opposed to India or hostile to India after we went for the second nuclear explosion. Later they all came around, and it was a very, very important decision. And today India and America are among the closest neighbors, friends, and America today is the biggest trading partner. I think this year it is going to be $200 billion bilateral trade, and you have more than 5 million Indians living in the US. and they are working as a great bridge between India and the United States. So all the credit for the kind of relations that exist between India and the United States today must go to the initiative and the daring Dr. Manmohan Singh showed and got the Indo-US Civil Nuclear Cooperation Agreement through at that critical point of time, Megha.
Absolutely. All right. On that note, I'm out of time. I thank both of you for joining me on the telecast and sharing your views. I'll slip into a short break. Thanks for watching NewsX.